Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Parks and Recreation and Community Services Commission, a special agenda, March 31st, 2021. And now I'm going to pass it on to Commissioner Gabriel Gutierrez.
Thank you, everyone. So in accordance with California Governor's Executive Order N2520 regarding the Brown Act and guidance from the California Department of Public Health on gatherings, this meeting is taking place entirely by teleconference via Zoom. The council chambers is closed. The public is accessing the meeting via the Santa Ana YouTube channel or the city's website. The commission members and I, along with the executive director, recording secretary, and the city staff are in different locations. Please bear with us as the technology may disrupt the flow of the meeting. And good evening, everyone. I call to order the March 31st, 2021 Parks, Recreation, and Community Service Commission special meeting. Will the record? Oh,
can you guys hear me?
Yep. Yes.
I can't hear anybody.
Oh no.
I don't know what's going on.
We can hear you.
You may have to go to your audio settings and make sure if you're on your iPhone, you may have to, it'll say switch to phone audio. If you're connected to a Bluetooth device via your car, you may have to turn your Bluetooth off in order to make sure that you can hear.
Commissioner Gutierrez, can you please, I just want to remind everyone that is on the commission, please show your, turn your video on, and staff will have their videos turned off until it's their time to speak, except for me.
And
Sure
I'll continue. So
Yes,
I call order the March 31st, 2021 Parks, Recreation, and Community Service Commission special meeting. And will the recording secretary please call roll?
Commissioner Gabriel Gutierrez,
Present.
Commissioner Alfredo Torreblanca,
Present.
Commissioner Monica Moet,
Present.
Commissioner Andres Ramirez,
Present.
Commissioner Corey Nelson, probably,
Right, Hiram, he is here. He's just having
Yeah.
some difficulty with his.
and
audio.
Commissioner Ruby Wu.
Here.
Commissioner, we have.
All right, are we there? Hello?
Yes, we're here.
All right. Got that figured out. My fault.
No worries. So everyone, if you could please stand wherever you are and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner
All right.
Gutierrez?
Yes.
We have one excuse absence of Commissioner Angie Gomez.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Hiram. We'll be getting to that just in just a second on the agenda.
So I'm going to go ahead and continue. And we have one presentation on the agenda regarding the general plan update presented by Melanie McCain, who is the principal planning for the Planning and Building Department. So does the commission have any questions regarding the presentation? All
We'll
right.
go ahead and Melanie, you can turn your video on and share your screen, and it's probably going to be a lot better than last time because we can hear you.
Fingers crossed. Very good. So can everyone, let's see, let me make sure I'm sharing my screen. All right, can everyone see the screen? Very good. So thank you. It's good to be back, and technology is our friend tonight. So that's good. So I'm Melanie McCann with the city's planning division, principal planner overseeing the advanced planning and the general plan update. I think a couple of you have heard parts of this presentation either through the Youth Commission or Member Wu last night at our meeting with the Artesia Pilar neighborhood. But let me start by just giving a quick broad refresher on the city's general plan. So we've been updating the general plan for the last couple of years, and it's a document that is basically is to articulate what we want to be for the future. It guides not only the physical development of our community, but the overall quality of life, economic health, and the sustainability of our city. And the pictures you see below represent each of the elements or the topics that are in our draft element. And the couple that would most resonate with your board would be the open space element. We have conservation element, the community element, and even urban design and safety, noise, a variety of elements. But there's a couple that are of particular interest, I would think, to your committee, to your board. And just to articulate the 5 words at the bottom were actually themes that arose as we did our initial outreach with the community. The kinds of comments and values that came forward were culture, sustainability, health, education, and equity. So when you have an opportunity to look at the draft element, all the policies and such are cross-referenced by these values to make sure that we're staying true to those values and reflecting them in the document. So one thing that we're working on right now is doing some additional outreach for our environmental justice communities. So generally, the topic of environmental justice became a mandatory topic. When you update your general plan, you need to also update your policies related to your disadvantaged communities. And that became law in 2016. So this legislation, also known as SB 1000, requires cities like ourselves to update our policies for our disadvantaged communities. And that would be those communities that have more of a risk related to health. So the objective is to reduce those health risks in those areas, to promote community and civil engagement. So those individuals in those neighborhoods are involved and invited to be involved in the decision-making process, encouraged, and also to prioritize improvements and programs in those particular areas. And once again, disadvantaged communities are communities that have carried a higher burden of pollution and health risks than other parts of the community. So for Santa Ana, the way we identified our disadvantaged areas is we used a tool that was created by the California Environmental Protection Agency. And it takes 20 different indicators, these little circles that you see. Those on the left side of the slide are indicators that are related to pollution burden. And those on the right side that says population characteristics relate more to aspects of the population or socioeconomic factors. So for the population characteristics, the areas that might have a lower attainment, educational attainment level, or there might be areas that are burdened with their housing costs, that a large percentage of their income is going towards housing costs. There might be a higher poverty rate, higher employment rate, as well as some of the conditions might be a higher level of asthma and low birth weight for infants. And then on the left side of the equation, it's more exposure to potentially industrial uses or transportation uses that have a higher particulate matter, toxic releases. So the model, if you will, looks at all these 20 factors, and then it maps it by census tract. So all these little boundaries are census tracts. And the combined scores, those that score between 75 and 100 are considered what we call disadvantaged communities or environmental justice communities. So that's what our charge was in Santa Ana to look at those areas, which are the ones in the darker orange, and work to address some of their burdens and challenges. So what we're working on now, we had our first meeting last night with the Artesia Pilar and Flower Park neighborhoods. And so again, the disadvantaged or the EJ communities are those in this bright pink. And the yellow splashes of color you see are the different neighborhood meetings that we'll be holding. So our intention is to reach out to those in the environmental justice neighborhood areas, better understand their experiences, their concerns, and suggestions to improve the quality of their life and improve their environmental health. And again, that's required by SB 1000, and it's the right thing to do. So a part of our outreach includes a survey. Some of you might have gotten a Nixle communication telling about our neighborhood meetings and the survey. The survey will be going on through May of 2021. It will be available online in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. If anyone needs a hard copy that you know of that's more comfortable in that medium, we can also provide hard copies. And again, as I mentioned, there'll be 10 virtual meetings. We'll be holding those through May. And as we shared with your youth commission, Cal Poly Pomona, their planning department, is actually approached the city, and they would like to hold a youth forum to as one of their class projects to teach our youth a little bit more about what the general plan is, and which is a great opportunity, good timing. So that's intended for April 19th. And then when they do provide the details on that flyer, we can pass it along to the board, and we'll be passing that along to the Youth Commission. So the general timeline for the general plan is that we're working with the environmental justice neighborhoods through May. We'll be taking those additional comments, and we'll be refining our general plan policies, actions, and programs, bringing that before Planning Commission for a study session and open to the public. We're required to complete an environmental impact report, so we'll be updating that. And then if all goes well, we'll go to public hearing with city council consideration towards the end of the year. Now, I do want to make mention that we welcome the opportunity to come back to you at a further time to walk through some of the policies and the actions that are in the elements that are relevant to your board in particular. So we look forward to that opportunity. So with that, we have a general plan website that's got a lot of different information on it, an email and the phone call if you have any specific questions. But we appreciate being able to share this with you tonight. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Does the commission have any questions regarding the presentation? Anyone? Okay, perfect. And then next on the agenda is public comments. Does anyone wish to speak? Recording secretary that you see?
No, we do not have anybody.
Perfect. So then next on the agenda is the consent calendar for items 1 and 2. Do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I so move.
Okay, Ruby Gonzalez Wu makes a motion,
I second. Corey Nelson.
and Corey Nelson second, and then recording secretary, if you could do a roll call for the vote.
Commissioner Gabriel Gutierrez,
Yes.
Commissioner Alfredo Torreblanca,
Yes.
Commissioner Monica Moet,
Yes.
Commissioner Andres Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Corey Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ruby Wu.
Yes.
All right. And then next on the agenda is the business calendar. Tonight we have one item, which is the election of the Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Commission officers. And I'll go ahead and I'll turn this over to the recording secretary to take us through the election process.
Okay. It is the responsibility of the Parks and Recreation and Community Services Commission to elect officers. The elections typically take place in June, the last month of the fiscal year. Newly elected officers assume their elected positions at the first regular meeting in July. Since the position of chair and vice chair are vacant, the commission shall elect of its members for each position to serve the remaining of the unexpired terms. With that being said, I now officially open the floor for nominations of chairperson. Does anyone wish to nominate a person for this position, chairperson?
Or you can nominate yourself.
If nobody has a nomination, I will nominate myself.
I so second.
Um, mm,
Are there
I
any?
second the nomination.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, now I close the floor for nominations for chairperson. Commissioner Gabriel Gutierrez, do you accept the position of chairperson?
I do.
Okay, we have to do a roll call for this. Commissioner Gabriel Gutierrez,
Yes.
Commissioner Alfredo Torreblanca,
yes.
Commissioner Monica Moet,
Yes.
Commissioner Andres Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Corey Nelson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Ruby Wu.
Yes.
Okay, congratulations. I now officially open the floor for nominations for vice chairperson. Does anyone wish to nominate a person for vice chairperson?
I'd like to nominate myself. I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, I'm gonna close the floor for nomination for vice chairperson. Andres Ramirez, do you accept the nomination for vice chairperson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a roll call is needed. Commissioner Gabriel Gutierrez,
Yes.
Commissioner Alfredo Torreblanca, Commissioner Alfredo Torreblanca,
Yes.
Commissioner Monica Moet,
Yes.
Commissioner Andres Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Corey Nelson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Ruby Wu.
Yes.
Okay, this concludes the process of election. I'll turn it into Commissioner Gabriel Gutierrez.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is informational items. No action needed from the commission on these items, however. This is a time for city staff to provide a brief summary of their reports and for commissioners to ask questions.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start off with the executive director's report. Thank you all again for taking time out of your schedules to reschedule this meeting. I see a couple of you in your cars. We appreciate that. I know everyone is busy, and so we're going to just give some brief updates. We're not going to go over everything in the reports. We did that last time. We want to be respectful of your time. This is your meeting, and we'll give you opportunities to ask questions and comment. the report that I provided is, we talked about the red tier, how we're trying to open up under the red tier. Well, now it's the orange tier. So we are doing the best we can and staying within the guidelines of, the orange tier. Some of the restaurants, are able to open with 50% capacity. We're continuing to have our youth sports programs outdoor. We're starting to have games, not tournaments, but there is some spectators that are allowed to watch those games. We are having virtual classes still, and we're going to try to open up a little bit of the senior centers. We wanted to open up the tax preparation, the free tax prep classes, by appointment only for them, but we're a little late, so we partnered with another agency. So we're just going to try to make sure they really want to have exercise classes, and so we're going to try to have some exercise classes for those seniors, and we'll do it as a sign-up basis. Typically, the seniors just show up to the senior center, and they come in and they spend the whole day at the senior center. And with only 50% occupancy, we don't want to open it up and have to turn people away. So we'll try to have some targeted programs and activities. And that goes for the rest of our recreation and community services. The other thing on my agenda is the Parks Master Plan. And so just like the general plan, the Parks Master Plan is very important to this department, and it will provide a roadmap for us for our entire park and trails, facilities. So everything will be evaluated, and that's going to happen over the next year. And so in the report, I provided some things that we've already done and what we're anticipating doing next, which is the community outreach. We also have an advisory board. We put together about 16 people that represent the community, different parts of the community. We want to make sure that we have people representing everybody as best as possible. So the commissions are involved in that. So what I'm doing is sending letters to the chairpersons of each commission asking if they will be a representative on this advisory board. And of course, Gabrielle, Commissioner Gutierrez, if you can't do it, then maybe we'll go to the vice chair and so on and so on. So we just want to make sure, and then when you participate on this, then you would come back to the commission and report out on what's been happening and things of that nature. So we're very, very excited to continue on with this Parks Master Plan. This is one of the City Council's strategic initiatives. It's one of their priorities, and so our job is to complete this master plan. So at some point when we get together physically, when we can have a meeting, we'll take you all on a tour. We typically have a tour and maybe show you some of our capital improvement projects that we're doing, and just kind of do maybe like a Saturday, we'll do maybe a 6-hour event, and then we'll have lunch and things of that nature. So we'll eventually get to that. But we'll just kind of make do via Zoom as best as we can. And let's see, what else? I think that's it for me. I'd be happy to answer any questions, or if you ever need to have a question that you think of after the meeting, you can always email me or email any of the staff. We're here to support you. And we are here to facilitate any goals or initiatives that you want to accomplish this year. And I know this is only our, some people's first meeting. And so you all will have some time to figure out what you would like to do and as we move forward. So thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, please let me know.
I have a question.
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I had remembered you saying something about outreach in the Parks Master Plan, and I think I missed that point. If you could just repeat that one more time.
Absolutely. The outreach is going to be probably April through June. And so there's a lot of different strategies that we're using for the outreach. We're going to have the advisory board of about 16 people. There's going to be surveys. There are going to be let's see, the utility bill. We're going to be sending things out through the utility bill. We're going to have, you know, Zoom meetings if we can. We'll have some in-person outdoor meetings. So we have a big giant array of ways to connect with people so everybody can at least provide their input in what they'd like to see in their park system. So if you recall, there have been some handball court press at Shepherd's Park. There was a handball court removed, and so some people wanted to have that handball court. So during this process, people will be able to say, hey, I want a dog park, I want a skate park, I'd like handball courts, I'd like tennis courts, or what have you. And that's the time where people can provide their input about what they want to see in their park system. So what we'll also do, Commissioner Moet, is bring our consultant and provide a presentation on the Parks Master Plan. They're going to do that for you all and then also for the Youth Commission. And so we'll get that scheduled and put that on the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone
I
else
also
have
had
any
a question.
questions? Oh,
Yeah, you spoke about a tour. I wanted to ask, is there a tour you'd give the commissioners of the Park and Recreation Committee, or is it what kind of tour, along with like when the dates for that would be?
Yeah, the tour. So we will connect with all of you. And what we do is get kind of a van/bus so everybody can be in there whenever we can all get together again. And so we'll take you on a tour for probably like on a Saturday where we can spend about 6 hours. We'll provide you lunch. We'll go by the zoo. We'll go by some capital improvement project sites. For example, Santa Anita Park is a big site that's going to have a big capital improvement project. And so we'll connect with you and let you guys know when we can do that and, you know, provide you that. And then you've got time to ask questions and you can really see the system and what we're trying to do.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
do we have any other questions?
I'm sorry, may I have one more thing. I did email all of you. There is a conflict with your meetings on, as we found out last time, because another commission forgot to close it out and that's why we couldn't get back on Zoom. And so I'd like to propose that we select a new date for our commission meetings. And I'm not sure if you've had time to look at the calendar. For example, there is availability on the first Monday of the month, the first Tuesday of the month, and the first Wednesday of the month. There also is availability on the second Thursday of the month, the third Monday of the month, the third Wednesday and Thursday, the fourth, Tuesday and Thursday. So are any of those okay with you? What we'll do is we'll have special meetings until we can adjust our bylaws and put it in our bylaws. So is there anything that somebody wants to throw out as a meeting so we can schedule our next meeting? Any dates that you prefer?
I'd like to say the fourth Tuesday. I believe that's the 27th of this
Tuesday?
next month.
27th, okay, fourth Tuesday? Is the
I would
fourth
second that.
Tuesday? Okay, everybody okay with the fourth Tuesday? Okay,
For me, I have some flexibility except for Mondays and Tuesdays. So if anything that's on a Wednesday or a Thursday, however, if it works with everyone's schedule, the Tuesday, I can make arrangements for it.
Yeah, Tuesdays are tough for me as well, but unfortunately, but I could probably make it work. It'd just be a little tougher.
is there a different day that someone else would like to propose or Commissioner Ramirez, was that you that proposed the Tuesday?
Yes, ma'am. The fourth Tuesday or the first Tuesday would be the best for my schedule. There's some flexibility, and I can possibly do, I believe, the Thursday.
I'm sorry, the fourth Thursday? Is that what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Fourth Thursday. Is that, how about the fourth Thursday of the month for everyone? Does that look a little better?
That sounds good for me.
That works for me.
Thursdays are good for me.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. It looks like, are we missing someone? Hold on one second. Let's shoot for the fourth Thursday of the month. So our next meeting will be the 29th of April. And we'll get everything out to you, and we'll plan that. So thank you very much. I appreciate that, and we'll get this taken care of. And at some point, we'll need to bring back some draft bylaws for this commission, and then we'll have to bring those to the city council to be approved. So we'll bring a draft to you perhaps in April for you to look at, and then we can, you know, if they're okay, we can send them off to the city council, or we can come back to you at a May meeting and make some adjustments to them. So, and we'll add in the dates. Oh, what time? Sorry, is there a preferred time? Is the 6 o'clock work okay, or do you want to go earlier or later, or what works?
6 o'clock. This is Ruby Woo. 6 o'clock is fine with me, but I'm flexible.
If we stick with the fourth Thursday, if there is an earlier time that works with everyone's schedule, that would be beneficial for me. Just speaking in May, I may have something coming up.
Okay.
4 o'clock in the afternoon would be.
Say again. Sorry, cut out. 4 o'clock.
Sorry, the 4 o'clock in the afternoon would be great for me on that.
Does 4 p.m. on the fourth Thursday of the month work for everyone?
Yes, it works for me.
Works for me.
Nelson, I see you thinking. Not really.
Yeah, it might be a little early for me because it depends upon any given work day, but
Okay.
I'm sure I can make it work once a month somehow or another.
You sure? Okay.
We'll be fine.
Let's try it. Let's try it for April, and we can always make adjustments because these are going to be special meetings. We'll get them posted on the website so people will know what date and time, and we'll just try that out for April. And if we need to make adjustments, we can certainly do that. No problem. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And do we have any other staff members to present for reports?
Yes, Mr. Sternberg from the library will present his report next.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm just here to give you a quick update, real brief, as Lisa mentioned, touching on some of the big items, in March. For the Santa Ana Public Library. The first thing I just want to talk a little bit about is our kind of phased reopening that I'm doing. The next step in this reopening process is that on April 9th, we're going to go ahead and open up the New Hope Library for some limited in-person services. This means grab and go. You can come in, use a computer up to 2 hours per day. You'll be able to browse the shelves, check out items, but we're going to just discourage people, remaining in the building for long periods of time. And of course, people will be required to wear masks, and we will be following all of the social distancing and PPE protocols in terms of plexiglass. So we're excited to get New Hope opened up, and look for that on April 9th. And we'll also be starting a small outdoor computer lab right under the overhang at the main library. Really, we're offering all the services that we had in the past, either virtually or through curbside pickup in terms of materials. But the one thing that's kind of missing is this ability for somebody who doesn't have any kind of device to actually come and use a computer. So that will solve that issue at both libraries. Next, moving on, I just want to talk briefly about a new service we're launching, a book bundle service. It's right on our website. You can go on to the website and basically request for a librarian to kind of make you a little specialized book bundle for a specific subject or author that you just love. And we have it grouped by age group, by interest, and there's a brief questionnaire that you'll fill out. A librarian will contact you back, and we'll have your items ready for curbside pickup. So it's kind of a book bundle. We kind of curate a little mini collection for you that you can come and check out. So that's pretty neat. Next, we have a kind of a small little partnership with the Discovery Cube going on. This is basically supporting the Santa Ana Waste Free Day program that they do with the city. We're just kind of highlighting some of the collections that pertain to some of the exhibits and especially waste-free kind of things that the city already partners with the Cube on. The next few months will be focused on pet safety, feed the birds, and build your own adventure. And those are from the Discovery Cube, and those are their themes that they're focusing on with Santa Ana Unified School District, with their program, as well as just for the public in general and their virtual programming. Next, we have a big project coming up, an RFID project. The library uses some really old electromagnetic, 1980s, 90s style way of desensitizing, security on books. So you walk through the gates and they beep and so on. It's really an old-fashioned method that uses like a tattle tape that you put in the spine of the book, and then it just basically the gates sense it. It's old-fashioned. They have to be rubbed on a big magnetic bar to desensitize. So we're going to upgrade it. All of it. We're going to put in a self-check machine. So it'll be like, going to the grocery store, you can check out a book right there. You'll be able to just set a stack of books right on the self-check. It'll read all your items through these RFID tags. And RFID stands for radio frequency identification system. And, all your books will come up on a screen. It'll tell you what you're going to check out. And then as people walk through the gates, it also will help us track in real time how many people are in the building. So some exciting stuff going on there. Our friends of the library is offering on certain days, Monday and Wednesday of every month. This began March 1st. They get lots of, they have lots of donated items from the past and a big collection of them. So they just want to gain some, some popularity with our residents in our community. So they're offering up some of these books for free. You can come and grab one as you, if you participate in our curbside pickup and you check out a book. And then you'll also have an opportunity for another voucher for a free book once our main library is able to reopen after we make some improvements. And that just goes into, my next thing here is that the main library is going to receive some basic facility types of upgrades. They're much needed. New roof, new windows, new ceilings. Those are all in the works and should be completed. The library's been partnering with Public Works. Those should be completed by the end of May. And finally, we got a lot of great new virtual programs. Always check on our website. March was Women's History Month. We are also always adding new e-resources. Many of these new e-resources and databases are funded through the Cannabis Public Benefit Fund, which has been really instrumental for the library in funding a lot of great new programs and services. And the one that we're going to be launching coming up, it's not ready quite yet, but this is kind of a sneak preview. It's called BiblioBoard. It's got a lot of focus on comic books for teens, indie authors, and even some content creation kind of stuff for youth. So it's going to be a good one. So keep looking on our website for that one. It's called BiblioBoard, and we'll also be promoting that as well. And finally, our Take It and Make It programs continue to do well. March, we focused again on the Women's History Month. So we had a button family treat kit for adults. We had a trivia that you could go online and do, and a Cup of Ambition program for teens where they could kind of design their own coffee mug and put inspirational kind of messages for themselves on there, kind of like what Starbucks is doing around at their stores. So that's all for me. Take care and have a great evening, unless you have some questions you'd like me to answer.
Do you
I
have a
have a
quick
question.
question?
Oh,
Okay.
go ahead.
Sure.
Thank you. So question, for the New Hope opening on the
Yeah.
9th, is there a possibility for someone to go and observe the inside of the New Hope, just get a tour of the library?
In terms of touring the library after it's open on the 9th or touring, yeah, well, you'll be able to come on in, and if you want a little tour of the building, we'll have staff there. You can just shoot me an email, Andres, and let me know, and we'll be happy to, give you a little tour of the building on the 9th if you'd like it. Absolutely. We've had a lot of nice upgrades in that building as well, in the time that we have been closed over the past year. So it's got all new furniture, it's got a fresh coat of paint, a lot of new lighting in there. We created a little media lab. Not everything will be available on day one when we reopen, just because of COVID-19 restrictions and safety. But we would be happy to give you a tour. Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just shoot me an email.
And I had a question regarding the RFID project.
Yeah.
What's your guesstimation with how long that's going to take to transfer everything and transition the books?
Yeah. My guess is it'll take us, about 3 months or so, because we do have to retag all of our items. And a part of this process is it's literally physically grabbing every book and putting one of these, radio frequency chips on it. It's like a little computer chip, and it's a sticker. So you hide it in the book there, you put it right on the back cover. The vendor that does this provides these tagging stations for our librarians. So they kind of go through the shelves and they can pull them out, they scan them. It's 2 people at a station. So my guess is probably, 2 to 3 months to complete the whole project. And go from there. It's already been approved by our city council though. So as soon as we get all of the equipment, we are going to get going on it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
Right.
does anyone else have any questions?
Well, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have some more staff presentations.
Yes, our next staff presentation is from Mr. Ron Ono, our Administrative Services Manager, regarding parks and facilities.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity to present my Parks and Facilities Operational Report. We have a number of projects in design and construction, but tonight I'm going to just present the highlighted ones that's coming up that you should be aware of, and also some of the volunteer efforts that's happening throughout our park system. What you see on the slide is a rendition of a prefabricated restroom that we'll be installing at Madison, Memorial, and Cesar Chavez parks. We've already completed 2 prefab restrooms, smaller type restrooms at Delhi and Thornton Park. In Madison and Memorial and Cesar, we're actually going to remove the old restrooms and install new restrooms in appropriate locations. Next slide. Hiram, can you change to the next slide?
Go ahead and just continue on in your report,
Okay.
and I'll try to get in touch with Hiram.
Okay, the other project that we're doing that's a major project is the Santiago Gas House project. That project we were successful in getting a number of different kind of grants for it. We've already awarded the project on March 2nd. We anticipate construction in April. The Public Works will be notifying the adjacent community of the construction activity, so they're made aware of it. And we anticipate completion in October. And that project is actually going to completely renovate the dirt area between Valencia and the existing park restroom. We are going to re-landscape, install DG walkways, concrete walkways, landscaping, an amphitheater. We're going to renovate the existing restroom building and completely restore that. And in the gas house project, we're actually going to put in a small kitchenette that's going to be available for reservations with a refrigerator, sinks, and a small restroom. The other thing that we're doing is at Thornton Park, People and Trees were able to plant some trees at the park site. They are committed to plant 140 trees. They're approximately 50% completed right now. They just replanted a number of trees there. It's a grant that they received from CAL FIRE, and technically they need to do it with volunteers, but because of COVID-19, we're contracting some of that out. The other volunteer effort we had was at Sarah Mae Downing Park, where the Flower Park Garden Neighborhood Association planted some ground cover in the park site. And in the future, you'll see April the 5th, Orange County Conservation Corps will be cleaning Santiago Park. They received a $100,000 grant to clean the creek. I'm sorry, I said park. I meant Santiago Creek. They'll be cleaning the creek. And then April 30th on Arbor Day, Stanbridge University will be planting 5 15-gallon trees, oak trees in Santiago Park. The other major project that we've done, actually it's not a major project, but it's an important project. We've installed signage, do not feed the geese. As some of you may know, feeding the geese bread will actually harm their digestion system. So we've installed several signs along the Thornton and Centennial Park Lake. The biggest major project that we're doing, where plans are completed, actually completed, but we're waiting for additional funding to actually expand the parking lot, and that's the Santa Anita synthetic turf project. That project will be installing synthetic turf in the bowl. We'll be redoing the walkway, perimeter walkway. We'll be putting in security lighting, and on the parking lot, we'll be expanding the parking lot. We'll be doubling the size of the parking lot space and putting in a new basketball court, security lighting, and renovating the playground area and providing a nice entry into the soccer field area. We've also sent out public input. As Lisa mentioned earlier, there was some concern about the handball court removal. So we sent out mailers to residents within 1,000 feet of Santa Anita Park, and the public input process will be completed on April 30th. Is coming around the corner. The other major project that we're doing is we submitted a grant, a second round grant for Memorial Community Center. The project is about $15 million. The grant, if we're successful, we provide $8.5 million, and we'll be removing the existing building and installing a new community center with multi-purpose room, community room, recreation room, kitchen, offices, and restrooms that will tie into the area. The application was submitted March 11th. We anticipate hearing about the grant if awarded in late summer. And if we are awarded, the project needs to be completed by March 2025. Are there any questions concerning my report?
I have a question.
Sure.
Yeah. For the Santiago Gas House project, I was wondering if there was going to be a groundbreaking event, seeing as construction is going to be happening soon.
We can plan that if the be the COVID-19.
Yeah.
That's going to be the issue.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we have a lot of grand openings that we need to do. And so I'm not sure we'll be able to do a ground breaking, but we'll definitely do a ribbon cutting. But as soon as we can get out there and have events, we will be asking all of you to participate in our grand openings of our fitness courts and parks and things of that nature, but we'll do the best we can under the conditions.
Yeah, great.
I had a question. Sorry. So you had mentioned installing a kitchenette and a refrigerator. Could you repeat where that was? Who will have access to that and to what extent?
If you, and too bad that we don't have the slide on the screen, but if you are familiar with Santiago Park, there's an old brick-like or stone-like building in the center of the park, just between Valencia and the existing restroom. That building was used, we call it a gas house because that building was built a long time ago and was used to store our gasoline equipment for maintenance of the park site. So what we've done is we're going to completely gut it out, put in a new structure, clean it all out. We're going to save the exterior and clean it up, put a new roof on it, and put in a counter space, sink, a room for a refrigerator, and part of the area we're going to have a small single unit restroom. Oh, there you go. You can see the brick structure in this slide. And that's going to be completely renovated. And outside of there, we're going to install some picnic tables. So as people would like to rent it for group picnicking or rent it for, as I say, there's an amphitheater there. If there's going to be an amphitheater, refreshments could be provided out of that little building. And that was the whole purpose of it.
Thank you.
I have a question. You spoke about synthetic turf being installed, and I was wondering if there's any reports or if there's going to be any existing foliage that's going to be ripped out or disturbed due to the synthetic turf.
Oh, obviously, all the grass is going to be removed. We've got to put in a new drainage, completely new subterranean drainage system under there, and then we'll put in a layer of gravel and sand and rubber surfacing, rubber material, and then the synthetic turf on top of there. A lot of the existing trees around the perimeter are diseased. So all those trees are going to be removed. And we needed to remove it anyway because we're concerned that their root system may damage the synthetic turf and or the leaves from the trees will create more maintenance on the turf itself. So all those trees are going to be removed. And then perimeter area is going to be re-landscaped with drought-tolerant planting. We'll have also the walkway is going to be large enough that a vehicle can drive on it for security reasons. And we'll provide not only concrete spectator seating area that's going to be covered with a shade structure, but we'll also provide concrete areas that community could use with little pop tents for special events.
Thank
I had
you.
one more question.
Sure.
Yeah, so it says that the last deadline to submit the public input comments for that synthetic turf project that happened yesterday. So I was wondering if we were going to hear the results of that anytime soon or talk about it maybe.
Sure. In fact, just by on top of my head, we probably received around 10.
Hold on, Ron.
Yeah.
It's April 30th is the deadline
My bad. Yeah.
for all the comments. So we have the rest of this month.
We still got a month left.
We will report back.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Ron, I would like to know if there's any update on El Salvador Park and the bathrooms there. Is there any time soon with the bathrooms in El Salvador Park?
The restrooms at El Salvador Park, we just repainted the roof. It's completely brand new, and also the building. As far as restoring it, we don't have it in the plans right now, but maybe in the future. There's going to be major construction out there. We're actually going to put in a brand new basketball court, brand new sports lighting. We've already got a fitness court already constructed and completed. And that site is also staged for a splash pad. So we'll be meeting with the community on the splash pad. So as we go through all those processes, we can take a second look at the restroom. But right now we're trying to renovate it the best we can to make it acceptable to the community.
I hate saying this, but it's just everybody I talk to. I would feel better with the bathrooms being fixed, and remodeling that is not, even if remodeling does not even help us, is the structure itself. I really like the restrooms that you're using at Delhi and the ones that you're going to be replacing at Madison. Those are something I would like in the neighborhood. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Commissioner Wu, we're trying to replace all the amenities in the park that are basic infrastructure. The restrooms need to be replaced. We need nice trash receptacles. We just need the basics. And so we're trying to do the best we can. We're applying for CDBG funding, but so noted on the restrooms. We will try to get to those and absolutely put it on our list.
Hey, Ron, I have one quick question as well. I saw in here lighting projects for both Riverview and Jerome. Those are, I think, probably both long overdue, but greatly needed. So would that encompass Field 3 at Riverview as well, or is it just be the two main ball fields there?
Just the two main ball line. We want to remove the old wooden poles and the old, I think, metal halide lights. So we'll be replacing it with brand new steel poles and LED lighting. So it'll be, so we're just replacing what's existing. We want to hit Thornton Park next. We've already done Rosita Park. We've done the stadium. So we've renovated all those with LED lights. We want to do some of the fields at Dan Young Soccer Complex with LED lights. So we're systematically going through the process and replacing these sports fields with LED lights.
Okay, because I know that in past conversations with both the Riverview Neighborhood Association as well as through San Antonio, and I believe even your department there regarding some cell phone tower funds that could potentially be used for some improvements. And one of those was actually one lighting, but also trying to figure out a way to find the funds to be able to handle to get Field 3 lit up as well. So just curious if there would be any way to maybe see about getting that, because I think both the neighborhood as well as San Antonio baseball would probably be interested in either helping fundraise or fund part of it if it's an option. So rather than doing it in two separate runs, I think so.
I understand. It's just to give you an idea of what it costs to completely install new lighting on the ball field. It's probably around $200,000. So we would have to either find or fundraise a project up to $200,000.
Yeah.
I think we. Yep. Go ahead.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you. Just want to let you know that we, as well as the restrooms, is the sports field lighting, the security lighting, security cameras. Those are the things that are important. So they are priorities, and we're looking for any ways that we can fund these. And we can fund these with the cannabis funds. So there is possibility, and we just need to make sure that we identify everything we need and systematically go through our whole park system. But yeah, I mean, the lights, we need lights for people to be safe. We've kept all of our security lights on all night long for the parks to be safe, and sports field lightings is number one on our list to get that done. And as far as the fundraising, it's so much money. I mean, maybe you can raise funds, or Santa Ana Pony could raise funds for something else to support the field. but we'll try to do the heavy lifting and find the money for the replacement of those lights for sure.
Yeah, the reason that Field 3 came up as conversation was really for pure safety, not even not from even a baseball standpoint. You have the two other lighted fields, and then out there in Field 3 is pretty well just a dark. Well, there's now some security lighting out there, but it still can be a bit shady, and it's right there as the entrance to the riverbed. So it's one of those spots that definitely needs to be lit up more. So especially in the evenings, if you want to try and keep not so good characters moving on, having it lit up with baseball lights is probably a good thing. So just 2 cents. But yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks you, Ron. Next on our agenda is Ethan Fisher with the Santa Ana Zoo staff report.
Hi, good. Oh, my camera is. Hold on one sec. I realize my camera is not plugged in. Oh, there I am. So I'll go through, I have it broken down into a few different sections that we'll go through fairly quickly. So the first is the animal services. Over the past month or so, we transferred some animals out to other facilities and also brought in some animals. We sent a small monkey to the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. And we're also renovating an area for our binturong, which is a really, really cool animal that a lot of people ask about. It sort of looks like a monkey, sort of looks like a cat, but it's really neither. With the education department, we have been continuing to do virtual programs. A very popular one is the Nature Lab. There was just a Nature Lab this past Saturday, and that's geared towards younger kids, sort of age 6 through 12. We have two different sections, one for the younger kids, one for the older kids, and they sign up in advance and receive all of the supplies for that program in a box shipped to their house, so that it's ready to go for the Saturday morning Zoom class. And if you're interested in any of these, I can direct you to the city website or an email address where you can sign up and be on the list. We've been open for a while now, so we do some education programs socially distanced at the zoo, including the free animal presentations that happened every weekend. We also had some renovations to an amphitheater area at the zoo. We have 2 different amphitheaters, and that is another area we'll be using for programs in the future. On March 8th, the zoo celebrated its birthday, 69 years. So next year is a big birthday for us. As far as operations go, we are back open now. The cafe reopened, the train started running about 2 weeks ago, and hopefully in the near future, we'll have the Ferris wheel and the carousel also running. So people are really happy about that. We've been doing some renovation projects over the past year while we were closed and also while we're open now. So we had some roof repairs done. We're doing a variety of landscape improvements and some fencing projects. So lots of different things like that are just deferred maintenance items. Bigger projects, Amazon's Edge, which would be a renovation project to put in a giant river otter habitat and a new primate habitat. That's still going through the process, so hopefully it'll go out to bid in the near future. In the farm, there's some smaller improvements, and one of them is a goat trail area, and that would modify the current goat area that we have now so that the public can go in with the goats and brush them and pet them. And it would also be a great area for youth volunteers in the future. So that's going forward. We applied for a number of different grants. Prop 64 was a grant for the farm area to install a nature play area. So it's, if you can think about a playground, but made with natural elements like logs and boulders and giant vegetable sculptures that kids can touch. So that hopefully we'll find out in late spring if we're moving forward in that process. And the other big grant was the Prop 68 grant for the primate forest, which would renovate the oldest area of the zoo where all the monkeys live, sort of the northern part of the zoo, if you're familiar with the site. And that would also include a nature play area for kids, so they can have some trails and sort of play in the dirt a little bit. Volunteers, we do have volunteers back at the zoo. We're doing volunteer orientations again. So if you're interested or you know anyone that's interested, we are definitely taking volunteers. And we also have some Eagle Scout projects going, which is always a popular one. And then recently there was a documentary made about the zoo that sort of goes through the zoo's history over the last few decades, which is really nice. The Friends of Santa Ana Zoo, that's a nonprofit foundation that's a partner with the city, helping to support the zoo. And they are the ones that operate the rides. So they got the train going, and then they're working on getting the other 2 rides going. They also received some grant funding for the farm, so that's helping to support the project with the goat yard. And then they've also helped with some other fix-it projects throughout the zoo, and are just continuing to support our operations. So that goes through the operations report, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Not so much a question, but I was wondering if I could get your email. I'm looking online and I'm seeing the social media aspect of it, and I wanted to just throw some suggestions your way, especially with that there's a bunch of new projects coming up, and since you are going live, there's been a couple of other nonprofits that I've worked with that have had some success with some online fundraising elements. So
Okay.
I could just send that to you.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I can connect. Or do you want me to? So it's my first
Hold on,
letter
wait,
of.
Ethan.
Yep.
You know what? We will send the commission everyone's email address just in case you want to get in touch with us. So we'll send that after this meeting
Perfect.
is over.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. Okay.
Ethan, can you just talk about one more thing? The
Sure.
the Zoomobile?
Oh, yes. So another one item that's going to City Council in April that we're really excited about is the Zoomobile. In the past, we had a Zoomobile, which was a sort of a small van that brought animals to schools, and they would book it, and we would go and do a presentation at the school. But we've re-envisioned this program now, specifically for the Santa Ana community. And the new vehicle that we're hoping, that's going to be going to council next month, would be an expanded version where we can go to different community centers, different neighborhoods, and different parks. And the specific program we're developing for youth it's called the Zoo in the Park, where we'd be able to bring our animals, bring activities, crafts for kids, all different educational programs, and go out into the community and connect with residents. So they learn more about the zoo, and then also the kids can learn more about nature and animals. So that's very exciting. It's sort of the zoo equivalent of the bookmobile.
Yeah, I think that's great, because then we'll have an opportunity to have the bookmobile out there, as well as, bringing activities to the neighborhoods and where people are. So thank you.
Yep.
I had a question.
Sure.
Sorry. So regarding the Zoomobile, I love that idea. I love that we're getting those animals out there for the communities. How would that be available though? So would that be something that would need to be requested by the community? Is it something that you have like the zoo's going to have a calendar and they're going to be scheduling that out? How would that work?
Yeah, it'll be something that will be on a calendar. So we'll have a regular rotation where we go to different sites so that people can expect us there. It won't be something that you have to reserve. And the plan is to do that year round. And that's funded with the Cannabis Benefit Fund. So we are able to hire some staff, and they'll be dedicated to doing those programs.
Great. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ethan. Our last report is Jeannie Gerardo, our Recreation and Community Services Manager.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the new commissioners. We love having you here. I'm going to do a brief report, but you do have the complete report in your packet. And so youth sports has started, and boys basketball clinics concluded already, and that was a great hit with 203 participants. Girls basketball started on March 29th, which is this past Monday. And I'm happy to report that it is a free program, free clinics for the girls. And we have over 180 participants. They do practice at Centennial Park outside courts. In addition, this Monday was a busy Monday. We also started the swim lessons for the youth from 5 to 8:30 for the age of 5 to the age of 17. And they're doing awesome also, and due to the great weather. We have awesome weather right now for aquatics, so perfect timing. And we're getting ready for opening them rec swim, which is $1 for child, $2 for adults. And that's coming up. It hasn't been out to the public yet. I was just reviewing the final details, and it'll be start on Saturday, April the 10th. Another item on the report is that we partnered up with America on Track to provide drug education programs to the youth. Currently in progress are 10 high school sessions for grades 9 to 12, 4 to 5 p.m. from March 1st to May the 10th. For the middle school sessions, there's going to be 15, and it'll be grades 6 to 8 from 2:30 p.m. to 3:30, March 3rd through June 16th. And the beauty about all this is it's all virtual, so they're able to participate. And the last 8 sessions are for elementary, for grades 4 to 5, and those take place from 4 to 5 p.m. March 5th through April 30th. So we still have some time left for that one. Also happy to report that there was a release for an RFP back in November for one-time cannabis funding. So Brian from the library had discussed about some cannabis funding that's helping them out. Well, for this division, we're also being helped out with that one-time funding that's going to go to 8 organizations to provide youth programs and services to the community. And you can read about that in your report. Senior programming, you already heard a little bit from Lisa, what we're gonna do in the future. But really quick, what we have been doing throughout the whole pandemic when we've been closed is our food bank commodities program, which is once a month for the seniors that need it. Those are the second and third Thursday of the month from 8 a.m. to 10:30. They just have to qualify for that. They call the senior center and they'll make that happen to them. For the month of February, we had 184 people at Santa Ana that received commodities, and at the Southwest Senior Center, we had 145. Take-home meal program, that is something that is a high priority for us, and it's much needed for the seniors. We do that every Tuesday and Thursday from 10 to 11 a.m. And social distancing protocols, they get in line and they are given the meals to take home. And I'm happy to report that the month of February, we had a total of 3,138 for Santa Ana Senior Center alone. For the Southwest Senior Center, we had a total of 4,743 that were given out. We also have fun things that we do with the seniors, and since we are closed, we do provide these services during the meal distribution. So for Valentine's Day, we gave out activity craft kits for Valentine's. Just a minute, technical difficulties on my own end here. We gave out 150 bouquets of flowers to the seniors as well. And they love that. We actually got a donation from the Amiga Social Club, and the Angels Flowers donated these flowers to all the seniors. A little bit about COVID-19 testing sites. We've been using our Southwest Senior Center for that. We had over 560 seniors that received their second round of vaccinations on February 17th. The first round was January 20th. And I'm happy to report that we recently partnered with Memorial Care. We had the first and second vaccinations already that took place March 13th and March 20th for 65 and over. And we vaccinated over 1,385 seniors. I just had a conference call with them yesterday. We're gearing up for another day coming up on April the 10th. And that's for the second round for the folks that received the first one on March 20th. So we're doing great with them, great partnership. Senior transportation, of course, that was shut down during the pandemic, but we recently started back up again on March the 10th to provide transportation for the seniors to the vaccination sites at Santa College. So we're providing that. Film permits, that was also shut down at the beginning, but per the state's guidance and mandates and opening up, that opened up on June 2020. Since then, we've had 11 permits given out from June through December 2020. Currently, from January through April, we've had 12 permits that we have given out. Of course, we have to have them follow proper COVID protocols. We do ask them to submit that plan to us for review. And just to give you a little sense, what we just started this year, we provided an update to the mayor and council of those film permits that are coming up. So they get an update, but also the new thing that we do as an agency, we provide A-frames at the site a couple of days prior so that people know that is coming. So there's no surprises and the public knows about it. Other than that, I'm done with my report. If you have any questions, thank you.
I would just like to add one thing that we've renovated both senior centers. I don't know if I already said this, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating from the last meeting, but the senior centers look fantastic. We want to take you guys on a tour of those centers, and the seniors are just waiting to get back into them. They are beautiful. They deserve it. There's new furniture, flooring, everything is renovated. So even the roofs. So we're really looking forward to opening those. And so we'd like to take you on a tour at some point. Thank you.
And are there any questions? All right, and I believe that was the last speaker, correct?
Correct.
Wonderful. Okay, and then that's the conclusion of the meeting. So the next,
just allow any commissioners who'd like to speak. You can maybe just go around the table or ask if anyone would like to speak. And then I have one last thing before you end. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you for that. So does any commissioner like to speak on any of the matters?
Yeah, I'd like to comment if that's okay. So thank you so much for having me. This is my first commission. It's really exciting to be here. I was tuning into the March 16th council meeting, and one of the things that they had mentioned was bringing back part-time staff. And I'm assuming that also includes Parks and Rec staff, part-time staff. By the way, this is coming back from COVID. I was wondering if we could maybe get like some sort of list of part-timers who were let go due to COVID and maybe like even where they were stationed. I just think it would be like good for us to be aware of who exactly was let go. Part-timers are made up of the community, and so it's important to keep track of where they're at and potentially bring them back after COVID.
Yeah, I know that Commissioner Moet, they are, as we start to open up, I know that a lot of our staff were brought back to do different things, like work at the vaccination pods or work for the CARES team. So they may not have been doing their regular jobs, but we were offering them other opportunities to keep, working for the city. So I know the HR department is keeping track of all those folks and have been offering opportunities. So I don't know the number of people, but as we start to open our facilities, we're starting to do a big rehire back because we're anticipating summer, that will hopefully be open. So I'm sure we can get you some information. I'm not sure if we can give you the names, but we'll check with the HR department and check on that. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. I have one last question. I also tuning into the council meeting. I know that the issue of the handball courts created a lot of tension, and I'm wondering. I know that you had mentioned that there's going to be a big movement in the Parks Master Plan with outreach, and also going to be communicating with Commissioner Gutierrez as well. And yeah, I was also wondering if maybe we could agendize an item where we are made aware more in depth, I guess, about the language in the Parks Master Plan and like how that's going to go in regards to outreach whenever there's a parks amenity in question.
So let me make sure I understand.
Yeah.
Can you repeat that? What are you actually, what are you
Yeah,
asking?
yeah. I'm wondering if we could maybe agendize an item in the future, in a future commission meeting, where we are informed more in depth on the language that's going to be put into the Parks Master Plan when it comes to outreach, whenever there is parks amenities like potentially being removed or
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
I understand. So that would not be put in the Parks Master Plan. I think what you're getting at is, what is the process if a park amenity is removed? What do you do? How do we do that? How do we determine that kind of thing? The Parks Master Plan will just address the asking people what they want in their parks, which could be a handball court, basketball, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, absolutely. We can put an agenda item on to talk about, you know, if someone requests something to be removed from a park, you know, how would we handle that? And yeah, does that cover what you want to hear? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
And to kind of piggyback on what you said, I know that there, it was said that there was going to be a survey put out and to all the residents who lived 1,000 feet of that specific handball court. And I was wondering how people were going to get information about that survey, if that was going to be put on any social media platforms, because many residents do follow the city via social media platforms.
Yeah, this was the survey went out to people that live 1,000 feet of Santa Anita Park. So we took and we mailed it to them. So those people, that's how we were directed from the city council. And so they have, I think we sent that out early March, and then we're giving them till April 30th to respond back. And then we will report back to the council. And we can certainly report back to the commission also and let you know what's happening with that.
Has there been any, maybe this is a different discussion, but has there been any attempt to make sure that those residents received the mail, that they got it, or is it just kind of being left up to, you have April 30th to respond, and if you don't?
We mailed, we just sent it through the mail, and we provided information to contact us if they have questions, but we wouldn't be doing any follow-up. It's, you know, as far as we gave them our information to get back to us. It's Ron Ono who is actually connecting. We can show you the, we can send out the letter that went to everyone if you'd like, just to see how we provided information to them. And then we worked with the IT department and got everybody's addresses. And so there's a map that shows 1,000 feet, you know, from the park. And how about if we just report out? Why don't I do like a maybe report on that next time?
Yeah,
Would that okay.
That would be beneficial. I would like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. Okay, if there's no other comments, I just wanted to offer to the commissioners, if you need, and I don't know if I already did this, but if you need an iPad to utilize and a hotspot, please let me know and we can arrange to get you one. We've offered this to the Youth Commission, and every single youth commissioner took advantage of that, because sometimes you're in your car or you're at work and you need something, or there's a lot of people in your house and you maybe need some extra Wi-Fi or hotspot. We'd be happy to do that. So just email me and let me know, and we'll take care of that.
Thank you very much. And were there any other items or issues before moving to close? All right. So this is the conclusion of the meeting, and the next meeting, it says that it's scheduled for Wednesday, April 28th, but I'm assuming that we're doing the 29th, tentatively for 4 p.m. So is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
A motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank
Wait
you.
a second.
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Ramirez. And who was it that seconded it?
I believe both me and Commissioner, sorry, I don't have your last name, but Commissioner Corey.
Oh,
Okay.
you. Yours.
And we have Commissioner Torreblanca who seconded that. So recording secretary, if you can do a roll call.
Commissioner Gabriel Gutierrez,
Yes.
Commissioner Alfredo Torreblanca,
Yes.
Commissioner Monica Moet,
Yes.
Commissioner Andres Ramirez,
Yes.
Commissioner Corey Nelson,
Yes.
and Commissioner Ruby Wu.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So meeting is adjourned at 7:28 p.m. And I believe that concludes everything.
Thank you, everyone.